for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Dorigo?
Here.
Trustee Erb? Here. Trustee Stroud?
Here.
Trustee Millet?
Here.
Mayor Jarvis?
Here. Open public concerns. Somebody could let us know if we're running live. Any public concerns?
And ask Gregory's here.
315-482-9902.
We're working, anybody texted you, let them know we're working? Yeah, we're in a meeting. We're in a meeting right now, right?
Yep, we're in a meeting. Correspondence. I don't see any correspondence. Motion to approve the minutes from January 12th, regular meeting, special meeting January 26th, emergency meeting February 4th.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Moved by trustee Millet,
I'll second it.
second by trustee DeRigo, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to pay the bills, abstract number 16 and abstract 17.
I'll make a motion, we pay abstract number 16 and 17.
Motion by trustee DeRigo,
I'll second it.
second by trustee Millet, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Trustee reports. Trustee Stroud?
I got nothing.
The only thing that I've got is the playground is getting used very much, morning and noon and night. There's a lot of kids down there
That's good.
skating.
That's good.
The Rotary's taking very good care of the ice down there. And I don't think we've had 1 minute's problem now, not a minute. And if it's as busy as it is this year, they have 2 rinks, they can put 2 in there next year.
Very nice.
It's going very well.
The thing is, this COVID, people gotta get out and do something.
And I mean, and the kids are very good about shoveling the rink off themselves. They're doing a great job. And it wasn't even on the
It is now. I did that this afternoon.
webpage, and I talked to the girls today, I said, well, that should be on there, but it's still been busy anyway. So, that's the only other thing. I'm gonna work a little bit, on the, possible putting the trailers down there at the walking park, trail, but I wanna get with Jared before I start doing that and see what else we're gonna do that. That's all I have.
We're still waiting for another bid to repair the dock, so I want to table it for the next meeting, and hopefully all the bids will be in, so we can, start this project before summer gets here.
So you want to wait on opening this?
I already got that.
Pardon me?
I saw that already.
Okay.
Yeah, we're waiting for one more.
We're waiting for another bid, we're waiting for one more bid to come in.
Not really bids or estimates.
Estimates.
Estimates. Trustee Hurt?
I don't have anything right now.
Sure.
Well, as we all know, we had that water main issue. It went off without a hitch. We are now able to shut down the one side of Mill Point, which we couldn't before, so now we can isolate Horizon, the old Vans building, all the way down to the condos. Now we can actually just shut that leg of it down. So it was, in a way, it was a good thing that it actually got done. We've been busy keeping the playground cleaned out for the kids, just like anything like at home. If they pick up after themselves, it'd be a lot better, but every now and then we'll find a hockey glove or a hockey stick or something, we'll just lean it back up. we've been busy keeping the trucks up and going. It's been a task.
But on light of Jared's project down there by the hospital, when they had the water break, I'll tell you, that company that, when we had that emergency meeting, we called them that day, the next morning they were here bright and early, and Jared's guys were down there. I'll tell you what, they did a great job. I mean,
Yep.
that was fantastic. I went down there 2 or 3 times, and,
I was down there a couple of times, I think
and
must have just
they were
missed
good to
it.
the people that went by, telling the people what was going on, everything. That company did a good job.
Yeah. One other thing, I talked to Hunter Horton today. We're gonna send just the greens mower reels out, probably maybe tomorrow or the next day, just for them to touch them up. That's just a every year thing with, the dirt from the wormholes and stuff. It takes an awful beating in them little bed nights. So that's gonna happen this week too. So, just about it.
Good. That's ahead of schedule.
Yeah, yeah.
Lee, zoning report.
You know, it's amazing what a stop work order would do. I issued one here a couple weeks ago, and about 5 minutes afterwards, they were down and got the necessary zoning permits. So it gets their attention in a hurry a lot of times with it. I know I reported last month that the ZBA would have some variances coming up. We're gonna have them the last Wednesday of February. There's gonna be 2 up on Rock. Then on the corner of Walt and Holland, the Rutherfords are gonna be combining a lot in there on a lot line adjustment along with, needing some variances. They're putting up a detached garage, and it's gonna be over height, so they're gonna need a variance for that in the main structure. There's gonna be a couple variances there, so we're gonna do them all in one night and, keep them busy for an hour or so. That's about all that I got, unless there's some questions.
Just the one on the docks, anything going on those?
I haven't heard, I should have looked it up the date that I sent the letter out, Shooky, to those 2 parcels. I know there's been some correspondence between, Isaac and his attorney and the surveyor. So, I believe the attorney has the site plan for Isaac, and from what I gather, they need the site plan to go to DEC and Army Corps. Now, that's beyond my scope, but, so at least they're making some movement there, with it. I did talk to Faye White McGivern, and the maps were done, and I don't know the reason. They had some positive cases over there in the surveyor's office. I don't know that put them behind it. Rob said they're ready to go over.
They're pretty busy over there. Steve's got a call, I've had a call, I'm sure Jared, I know Molly has, down here on Walton Street, High Street, corner down there where the house was where we had all the problems with those people and all the junks out there. They want us to clean it up, we can't clean it up, but can you cite?
You mean on, was it 93 Walton?
93 Walton, can you cite him for his yard? Because that wash machine's in the yard. A kid could go by, some other kid could jam that kid in that wash machine, not that.
It would fall under the state code, especially the washing machine, like a refrigerator. I can send a note. He's one of our transplants from Orleans, so.
No, but we'd send it to the homeowner there and, the owner of the thing, because they want us to take care of it. They want us to take our guys down.
Well,
They want
the caretaker came to my house, and
Yeah.
he wants to go on it, but the people who have supposedly running it have left,
Yeah.
but they're threatening him that if he goes on the property, they're gonna have him arrested for trespass.
So if we.
Mean the owner?
Well.
No, not the owner,
The
the-
tenants.
The tenant? Okay.
So if we cite the owner, instead of monkeying around with the caretaker and the tenants, and cite him, maybe he would get a lawyer. Maybe.
Let's see if I can get some pictures tomorrow, and I'll include that with the letter too. I gotta be a little careful, because of not being code enforcement, but.
It's just that wash machine sitting right there, it's kinda like a refrigerator, it's a front end load. If a kid ever got in there, he'd never get out.
Anything else?
That's all that I have.
department had 16 complaints, 2 arrests, 3 vehicle and traffic violations, 14 building checks, and 2 parking tickets. Old business, fuel depot with ACS intermunicipal agreement. We talked about it last week.
Yeah, I read mine over. I don't know what I did, I didn't bring anything else.
Does anybody have any further discussion?
I thought it was pretty cut and dry. I think it's a good plan. I think it's something we gotta do. I mean, what are they waiting for us, just to sign it so that
Yes.
it'll move forward? I'd like to make a motion that we sign that and, move forward on it.
I'll second that.
Yeah,
Okay, there's 2 portions, right?
yes,
One's a resolution.
yeah,
We have
Yep,
to do
there's
the
a-
resolution and then the intermunicipal agreement, so
Yeah.
it's 2 different, if you would.
so you got a
So we have a
resolution.
resolution that needs to be read granting use of the joint fuel facility with Alexandria Central School District
And that was
and
Miller
the
Intermunicipal.
agreement.
Yep.
So your motion is the agreement or the resolution?
Well, I think that, let's make a motion that we read the, resolution first, and then we'll do them both together. How's that? Is that all right with you, Julie? Is that all right
Yeah,
that way?
yeah.
Motion made by trustee Millet, second by trustee Ertz to adopt the resolution. Let me read it first. Don't have a resolution number, but resolution number of 2021, granting the use of joint fueling facility with Alexandria Central School District. Whereas the Village of Alexandria Bay, New York Municipality Corporation, office is located at 110 Walton Street, Alexandria Bay, New York, 13607, currently and independently maintains a gas and/or diesel fuel storage and pumping facility. And whereas Alexandria Central School District, a municipal corporation with offices located at 34 Bolton Ave, Alexandria Bay, New York, 13607, currently and independently maintains a gasoline and/or diesel fuel storage and pumping facility. And whereas the Village of Alexandria Bay desires to maintain a gasoline and/or diesel fuel storage and pumping facility in conjunction with Alexandria Central School District, and the Alexandria Central School District desires the gasoline and/or diesel fuel storage and pumping facility currently and independently maintained by Alexandria Central School District to become a joint fueling facility to be maintained collectively by both the Alexandria Central School District and the Village of Alexandria Bay as outlined in the proposed intermunicipal agreement. And the village board has considered the same, finds that a joint fueling facility would serve legitimate public goals, and the village board has reviewed the matter and the specifics associated with the potential joint fueling facility and supports the same so long as the conditions outlined in the proposed intermunicipal agreement are met and maintained. Now therefore it be resolved that Stephen E. Jarvis, as mayor of the Village of Alexandria Bay, and its officers and or representatives are authorized to execute all documents which may be required to effectuate the joint fueling facility subject to the above. The foregoing resolution was offered by Board Member Millet, seconded by Board Member Ertz, and upon roll call vote, the board was duly adopted. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Dorigo?
Yes.
Trustee Ertz? Yes. Trustee Strauss?
Yes.
Trustee Millet?
Yes,
Mayor Jarvis?
Yes. Good.
and now we gotta make a motion to
Yeah.
accept the
I
intermunicipal
make-
agreement.
Yes.
I make a motion, we accept the intermunicipal agreement with them now that we passed the resolution.
Perfect.
Motion made by trustee Millet,
I'll second it.
seconded by trustee DeRigo. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
it'll save you some headache right there.
We have, and hopefully we're gonna be real close to people.
Did you?
Well, that.
That's right.
Number 2, ready amendment for testing.
Well, I'm up.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. So the amendment, I'm not sure, Molly, did you have a chance to print a
I
copy?
did print it.
I have hard copies also if needed.
Yeah, I made a copy for the mayor, I knew you were bringing some. so
Yeah,
I
I've
let you.
got
Okay.
extra hard copies. So just to explain what this is, the amendment is for hazardous material testing at the water filtration plant. Since we're gonna be doing work inside the building, which includes raising the floor by approximately a foot, there's gonna be some work that may impact the walls, raising outlets, adjusting the wall height. So this includes testing, hazardous material testing at the plant. It's gonna include the entire plant. So this is actually, could be beneficial for other projects at the water filtration plant. The total for this, and it's mainly being done by Atlantic Testing, is $7,500. And Atlantic Testing will be collecting and analyzing all of the samples.
The funds for this come from?
The funds for this come from the ready
Ready.
funding.
Okay. Want to state it for my record.
Yep. And there's other improvements that we're looking at for the comprehensive study, so this will be beneficial for that study also.
Got it, thank you. You need a
And I have
motion?
some copies too, if you wanna look through what's included.
We need a motion for that, to approve that, please.
I'll second.
Moved by trustee Rick, second by trustee Millet, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Gregor, is there money set aside in this project if there is hazardous material that may be found?
Yeah, there's a significant contingency right now in the overall projects, so we would have to work that into the removal. I know when we worked on the new intake, we had some pipeline that penetrated to the ceiling. We had to do some specialized remediation for that work too.
Yep. Okay.
There's the actual hard copies for that. Brought a copy of the market price for Church Street also. Jarrett, be the one to, so those are drafts, if you wanna look at those, and then if there's any updates, just let me know, and we'll, before we finalize, we'll make those changes.
Me and Pat will take a look at them.
Yeah, if you need more copies, like I said, it's still a draft, so.
What's that on Church Street?
That's for the Church Street project.
Project budget reports.
So.
See you later, Lee.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Bye, Lee.
See you, Lee. Let's see. I think everyone's aware the GIDP grant that we're working on is due this Friday. So I wanted to share the budget for the meters, so everyone has an updated budget.
Meters.
Did we have enough,
Meters. Yeah, I know what it is.
Enough paper
It's the
signed,
Green
send it to that.
Innovation Grant Program, GIDP.
Did we
Too many
have-
acronyms.
Did we have enough signatures for that?
Yeah, thanks for whoever spearheaded that, that's
You're
great.
welcome.
Every
Come
place
on.
every place they went wanted to talk for half an hour.
I think there's-
I had to too, but I got them.
I think there was 20, did you get a copy,
Yeah.
Bubba?
I had 12 there on my street.
You're welcome.
I could've got
Oh,
a
I
lot
have
more,
one.
but I said there's no sense in.
Do you?
Okay.
Okay. This may be an updated,
That'd
there's
be 3.
changed this slightly. We
I
had
think
it,
I already got this. Yeah, I do.
Oh, what
we
the
had it a
heck,
little
I
bit.
hate trees. Oh, yeah, you did. Thank you.
I think probably the only difference between the two would be, we talked to Pat about having a miscellaneous parts line item. I think you might have been involved with that.
Yeah.
In our discussion when we started was what, the 2575 the 25, some of that can be our labor for installing the meters and stuff, if we decide to do the meters ourselves, right?
Yeah, so actually, we've had some follow-on discussions regarding that. So on this, there's two budgets. There's one if a contractor did everything.
Right.
Did all of the installation, went house to house,
Yep.
took out the old meter, put the new meter in. And then on the bottom, that's the budget if you purchase the meters, which would have to be publicly advertised and bid, and village staff installed the meters. So based on our discussions, we've actually had follow-on discussions since, your previous board meeting. And I think everyone was in agreement with having the village staff do the installation as a cost-saving measure. And
Towards our 25, yeah.
this program, the total funding for this program is 17 million, but that's split between 3 different programs. So I recommended that the budget at the bottom of the page be included, which is for the village staff to do the installation. Because with this program, they're gonna try to move it around to as many different projects as they can. So to have a lower cost project may be beneficial.
Right.
In this case, so I think the decision was to go with the lower budget, which is having village staff do the installs.
I know that I really didn't get an answer on it. I know that we have, like, the commercial meters, now we have the residential meters. And what my question was, what about our meters between master meters between the towns and the village?
Yeah, I didn't look at the IMAs. I assume the IMAs outline who's responsible for that cost. And I would assume that it's a town district cost.
Yes.
Not a village cost.
Okay.
I didn't look at the IMAs to confirm that, but that's what's typical.
I think that if we're gonna go this whole route and we're all the way down to 4 of them, we're gonna have to push them into, with that reader to put the money into them and put it in their budget for them.
It'd be nice that if you're going, so this system
I
is
mean,
a
go all the
fixed,
way to down to only 4 and not have 4 of them.
yeah, this is a fixed base system. So the plan would be for Molly probably had the system set up in the office here, and she could do the readings right from her desk. That's instead of going door to door manually and reading or having a drive-by system. But, based on discussions with Pat, that's what he was interested in, was a fixed base system.
I watched that work up in Cape Vincent's has that up there, and it's unbelievable how well that works.
You can even tell
How
the
is
water
that set up?
temperature.
Huh?
You can even tell the water temperature.
Let's put it this way, I was at Bob Marker's house when they turned the water on. And Gary Hogan was up there, he's the one that turns it on. He turned the water on, he called him in less than 5 minutes and says, you got a leak someplace, I'm shutting it back off. That's how fast it works.
Yeah, it's a nice, service for the community, because you can notify people.
From his plant, he did that.
Saves tons of time.
Yeah.
Notify people if they have a leak, because you have continuous water running.
Yep.
There's a lot of benefits,
Air
to the public.
temperature in the summer.
Labor.
Could be,
Labor alone, you know how much labor we would save, especially in the summertime when we need to save that labor. And how hard it is
Walking
for us guys
around
in the
the
wintertime to get around them
office,
all day.
everything.
Yeah.
takes away a lot of human error,
Absolutely.
transferring numbers to a pad or sheet of
Transposing
paper.
or, you got it.
There's definitely some benefits.
This should have been done years ago. I think they got to that one point and then just dropped it before.
Yeah, it's a competitive program. There's only 17 million statewide between the 3 programs, but
We'll try to get it for us tonight.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
And toes and nose.
Try to get it for us.
there may be a lot of interest in it this year, because I'm not aware of it being offered in the previous rounds.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
we're there, we're
Yep,
looking.
yeah. Now you have a report and you've got a budget started, so if
Yep.
another round comes out or another program, you're
We
set to go.
wanna get this one.
We have to.
Don't talk like that.
We
We're
want this
gonna
one.
get it.
Yeah.
Gregor?
We don't need to wait for the.
We've been very
next round.
fortunate, we've been
I just wanna
really.
let you know that it is competitive.
Oh, yes, we know.
Everyone wants to be money.
And if we don't let you fall.
Yes.
You get a refund, Gregor?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
All right, any questions on the budget?
No,
Is
that's
everyone
good.
in agreement with going with the lower cost,
Yes,
application?
yes.
Okay.
We should, yeah.
And our plan is to have the
That one.
application submitted by end of day Thursday to get it in.
I think that's the,
Sounds good.
that's the last day, isn't it?
Friday
Is
is,
it?
Friday
I
at
know
4
it's
is
kinda
the,
close,
good.
Yeah,
Perfect.
we're good, thank you.
I have a couple other updates, I don't know if we can do them under old business, or,
We can do them
yeah.
right
Do them
now.
under
Yeah.
reports.
Do now while you're
Do
here.
them right under the
Okay.
reports.
Yeah.
one is, Casino Island. Just a quick update on that, Doug Stroud dropped off bonds and insurances. I sent them to Jim Burrows for review, there's just a couple of minor things that, need to be adjusted on those, and then we can get the agreements over to the village for signature.
Okay.
Should have plenty of time with the snow outside, I don't think you'll start anytime too soon.
No, and I think we're gonna get some bad weather for the next week again. It's supposed to start getting cold.
Sounds like he's interested in, starting the project as soon as the weather
Great.
willing to
Yeah,
cooperate.
he's told me that.
I think when we get him going on that project, we should shift him right down to the dive park and get the dive park done at the same time. We've
Yeah.
already got that, and that's already,
Yeah.
that's under that minimum amount.
That's a small project.
That's not under that
Yeah.
minimum amount, we don't have to go out and bid that, we can get that done. That money's
Wanna
been
go
there
over
for,
the
that's been there for 4
Ready,
years.
that we
Yeah, we
talked
can talk
about
about the
today?
ready projects, you wanna spearhead our discussion with the Department of State and other involved agencies?
The biggest thing that's going on right now with the Ready is the wharf. Albany is so worried about what's the term with the, going in, putting the material in the water, that it's,
Outward expansion is, there's a, I think, 4-foot outward expansion on the wharf, and that's mainly for the constructability and also, straightening the existing wharf. If anyone's familiar, there's a
Yeah.
little bend in it now. So we're working through, we had a phone call, conference call today with, Department of State, who's overseeing the docks and the wharf project. And just went through where we are. For us, we're past the 60% design, we're between the 60% and 90% right now. But the big thing is going to be permitting, and that was part of our discussion today. The permitting process, it sounds like, based on our discussions, that the docks are gonna be fairly straightforward, because you're essentially taking out what's there and putting in same dimensional dock.
Didn't they say though, when we were talking about all this stuff at the last meeting, that if we keep to our guns on the wharf, that once things get going, the DEC or whatever one it is there that's giving us the hard time, the state will say that's ready money, that's gotta be done, and tell us they're gonna give in. That's the
Yeah.
way I understood it, that
Yeah, so-
last meeting I was at.
Right now, we're working through the whole process. There's multiple, regulatory agencies, including Department of State, OGS, Army Corps, DEC. So we're working through that whole process. We submitted a water quality certification form for the DEC, which takes a 30-day, timeline before you can actually submit the joint permits. That runs out towards the end of February.
February 22nd.
Yes, correct. So we're working through that whole process. It's a time-consuming effort. We will likely have the design complete ahead of the whole permitting process.
Now, on the ready and the FEMA are different things, but some of the streetscapes mixed in with some of that stuff also there.
Yeah.
And our streetscape, we're at the 90%. So, won't that push that along a little bit?
I haven't been involved with the streetscape, so I'm not
I
sure
know
how
we're up there quite a ways. I mean, we plan on starting the project in July, August, maybe even part of it, and then the docks right after Labor Day.
Yeah, it sounds like for the docks, it's not gonna be an issue meeting the.
Well, we had a little
Labor Day.
drawback because we had a lot not a lot, we had extra money left and we added another dock in there. We put the Bethune Street dock in there, so that's gonna be a new add-on. We're gonna take that Bethune Street dock out too and put a new floater in there at the same time. So.
Sure.
That's another water permit we're gonna have, so. But when we did that, we had a meeting on that yesterday, and when we did that, we put that as like, not a change order, but, a bid adjustment, maybe, something to do with.
Bid alternate, maybe?
Yeah, bid
Bid
alternate,
alternate, just so if you have the funds, you
Yeah.
can move
Yeah.
ahead with it.
yeah. So I know those permits we're getting very close on those.
Yeah, and if at some point, I don't know if Chris has been up to speed on
It's been tough.
ready
We've got
projects,
so much-
probably
We've got so
a
much
little
going
bit,
on.
probably got a lot to get caught up on, but at any point, Chris, if you wanna go through the projects or go through the drawings, just let me know, we could even do it over a Teams meeting,
All right.
to help, or any of the capital projects.
I told him, I said, it's really hard to tell you about them all right now, there's so many of them going on all at the same time, usually I only have one. Right now, we got 6, 7 of them, and it's so hard because you gotta keep it ready. When Bubba first got on board there, when we had the FEMA, the ready in the street,
Right.
he didn't understand them, and we sat one Sunday and we sat down and I explained to him.
Yeah, and unfortunately, in-person meetings haven't been
Yeah,
the easiest to do recently either. But yeah,
It's hard to
welcome,
jump.
if you ever wanna give me a call, Chris, so I
Okay.
can go through that. Or if we ever have public meetings again, we can,
I think you'll
Well,
see in
public
another
meeting
month or
too.
so, you're gonna be able to.
let's see, other projects. We had the studies, the water study, comprehensive water study. Still have a goal for a March, review of that. There's a few things in the field that we need to do, but those can be added in after. Yeah, I met with him, he's looking at the water plant and some of the ready projects too. Yep. And wastewater, similar schedule as the water, comprehensive water study. The only thing with that, we were hoping to do a tour of a plant that uses biomag, and with COVID, we haven't had that opportunity to do that yet. That may adjust the schedule because we really want feedback from Pat and Kevin on the process. Trying to think if there's any other
Anybody have any questions?
projects or any questions?
No.
Thank you.
It's good to see everyone.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Where's Thomas, on the other end? Is he on the?
Yeah.
Huh? He's pretty quiet tonight, isn't he?
He's watching.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gregor.
Thank you.
Number 4 is emergency management plan. This is
Gave
another,
one to everyone tonight.
another part of executive order from the governor.
Should be one there.
And one of my tough questions was to Molly, and I got all answered this afternoon, didn't I?
And I do have a couple things, so what I'm giving this to everyone is I have worked up the village's emergency management plan. And they have specific stipulations that have to be in these plans. And I hope they're all outlined. I do have a couple questions for the board. So I mean, and obviously you're not gonna make a decision tonight, but we need to do this ASAP. It has to go to the 2 unions for their approval. The board can adopt it anyways, but as of their approval. And a couple of the major questions was, on the first page under mobilization, once we've, if we were declared an emergency, and this is for future emergencies, it says the EMC will be staffed on a 24-hour basis until the declared emergency subsides. I don't know if we necessarily have to have a 24, or it could be an on-call basis. I don't know. This is the guidelines they gave me to go by. So that is one of my questions. A second thing I changed, after just printing them all out today, is on number 8. We don't have a actual building inspector here, so it has to be the Jefferson County Code Enforcement of the village is responsible for inspecting, safety of damaged homes and businesses before evacuees would be allowed to reoccupy them, and that's in case of a major disaster. Another one I spoke with Jarrett in reference to tonight was, number 13 in that portion is the fire chief would direct the assignment of personnel to the various emergency services in coordination with Jefferson County Fire Coordinator. Those are some of the changes. The biggest thing I have, and these, you'll see here, the state of the proclamations, that would be at that time, not now, but these are things that the village could set forth, a curfew, presence on the streets, order closing of parks and golf course, other things. And so I just want everyone to know that on the second part, the Village of Alexandria Bay Emergency Management Plan, this is the one that the village itself is really responsible for. Health and safety, so we want to make sure everyone would sanitize, do all of the things needed. The village has to set a precedence of what we will give our employees, say a payment, as in everyone's come across this. This is one of the biggest issues. This afternoon I spoke with our attorney. I have specific documentation in here that says what the CDC requires us to do. We have collective bargaining, so we don't do FMLA, we do collective bargaining, so that's part of this. This is the biggest part that can I read it? Do you care if I present it? Okay. As mandated in an executive order by the New York State Department of Labor, the Village of Alexandria will pay an employee if exposed during job duties. Well, the first time they will receive 14 days of regular wages. Okay? Number 2, and this is the CDC and this is the Department of Labor. The second exposure needs a doctor's slip for a positive result and on-the-job contracted on the job, they will receive 10 days. For a third exposure would be the same. After that, any other exposed to an employee will have to use their own sick, personal, vacation, and their own time. And that is what the unions are going to look at. But we do have all the documentations of how they say it's mandated. So that's going to be our biggest thing. And then it goes, we also needed to put what everybody's duties who are essential people in the village. That is all outlined for everyone. And that comes from NICOM, and that comes from our Jefferson County Human Resources. That is right down the timetable of everyone's positions. Obviously, our fire department, everyone's essential. At this point, golf course laborers, dock attendants, lifeguards, park attendants, and parking meter attendants would not be considered essential because they can be on an on-call basis in case of this. Last but not least, on the back page, we have what everyone's doing to check their COVID symptoms, come back to work forms. That is part of the mandate. So I just want to give everybody what we're looking at, how to do it, and I'd like everyone to look at them as soon as they can, please. We may have to have a special meeting to slide this through. I mean, if just getting it to you tonight, I know you're not confident to sign them, but, and then we can forward all this to our union and get it done.
We can get these to the union tomorrow?
We can get them, but it should be
Or do you
board
want it-
approved before we do.
I want to look it over first. You can't just throw it out there.
What's today's Tuesday?
Do we give you a chance to look it over and then have a meeting?
Yeah, that would be great. I'd like to get it out, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be approved until April 1st, but,
Well, April 1st, we got lots of time.
We
yeah.
got-
But it's supposed to have been to the unions a week ago. So I just wanna be able to get it to them and move it along, so.
And we have a meeting
Who's
Thursday night.
Patrick,
Patrick?
good now, yep.
Maybe I'll just talk to him and ask him if we can have an extension.
So, but yeah, Patrick's the.
Patrick and to,
I mean,
Josh
why
with the
don't we
police.
Josh with his. I mean, we can send them the preliminary.
Well, what's that?
But it should be-
Can we meet Thursday night to approve this?
Thursday, I got another meeting Thursday, that's what I'm wondering about, that's why I was gonna say we could just carry this over, but I got a streetscape meeting on Thursday, I think I got a streetscape,
Don't have any-
pretty sure.
What you think?
Yeah, I got a streetscape meeting,
What time's that at?
5 o'clock.
And you do right before, I mean, it won't take long if everybody, I mean, obviously, we all don't wanna read it and come back and wait.
If we're gonna do Thursday, we don't have to adjourn our meeting, we can just
Correct.
adjourn it.
Leave the meeting open and just,
Keep it open meeting and
send the
then on
meeting until Thursday at 4:30? You can do it at 4:30?
Is your meeting right up at the town?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
It's really on the phone, so.
4:35.
Okay.
4:35.
It doesn't matter, it's a carryover.
Yeah.
We're not quite sure.
Thursday at 4:35 to discuss it. Okay.
We also could ask Patrick on that, if, would he be able to attend that meeting?
I don't know, he does the hand plan, but I could ask him.
Maybe we ought to give him a copy of that, see if there's anything that he doesn't like.
Yeah, I'll give him one tomorrow.
Why don't we do that?
I just have to update a couple things that I explained to you guys and, yeah. And
The
sure,
big
look
thing
it
was,
over
the big
also.
thing was about the 14 days, and then the next ones, and the next ones, because we had situations where people were going out and going to parties and stuff, and they're getting exposed at parties, or getting exposed in bars and stuff.
It's a statewide,
And we're
it's a
paying
statewide thing, 'cause up to the prison, they're not, you go out the second time, you're using sick
Right.
time. You go out the third time, you're using sick time.
Yeah, this
They're
is New
going
York
to the-
State,
They're going to the
That's the way it
unions
should
over
be.
it.
Yeah.
They're using their own time
yeah,
One and done.
right now.
yeah.
And this guy's been out 3 or 4
And
times.
14
Just
doesn't
track
mean
it.
14 paid days, it means 14
14
consecutive
consecutive.
days.
I think your weekends are included in those, but, yeah, this is, as of today, yes. I've been online, I printed off for Shooky the information I had, Steve has the information. I mean, and that's been my hardest part, is finding what they're saying, and this is from like 5 different sites, that's all combining,
Well, 'cause
all the
everybody's
things
got a
together.
different plan.
yeah,
Yeah, they're pretty much
yeah.
all the same. Yeah,
So finish this up Thursday at 4:35.
yeah, it'll be fine, yeah, because we'll go.
Number 5 is police reform. This, reinvention policy and mission statement for the Alexandria Bay Police Department. This been in the office, has everybody had a chance to review it?
Yeah,
Need to approve it, so Josh can submit this to Albany.
when is that gotta be done by, too?
That one actually has to be done by April 1st.
April
also.
1st.
Or,
Did you see it yet?
Yeah.
Did everybody see it? Did you see it?
April 1st, 4th.
I just wanna make sure everybody sees it. You seen it, didn't you? You seen it a long time ago, didn't you?
The
Wow.
board just needs to approve.
So all we have to do is just make a motion to approve what he's, I'll make a motion.
Okay, I'll second it.
As long as everybody's seen it, I don't wanna jump on something that somebody didn't get to see.
Motion's made by trustee Millet, second by trustee Yurt to approve the police reform. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's great. Received a notice from Potentia for, this has to do with LED lighting in all the buildings. They submitted it before, and he says now the National Grid has more money for it. This is to replace all the lights in all the buildings with LED instead of the fluorescent. This would be a one-year term monthly payment, $529, and then net savings net after savings of $31. I'm not sure if there's a deadline on this, but I'm not sure about this.
Is that savings per month?
That's why I'm not really positive the way I'm reading this. You might wanna give them a call and ask them, this is a one-year term, monthly savings of $529. Does that mean we're gonna,
Have to pay them $529 to do this a month?
We have to pay to have it all transferred over, yeah.
So then our
It's not-
savings would be $31.
So our
yeah,
savings,
in the long run.
Right.
Don't we have that thing from New York State where we're supposed to reduce our things by so much?
by
I
a
mean, I
certain
don't know if
time.
anybody's gonna pay attention to it or actually do it, but.
How far does our street lights get us? We go LED on the street lights.
Yeah, we're gonna do the streetlights. The streetlights are gonna get done.
Right, so
probably
does that
this
get us
summer.
under the
Does that
percentage?
get us to the percentage?
Right.
Yeah, maybe.
Guess I'll have to look.
Okay.
at that, see if
That's
that-
right, we're doing that in part of the, what is that, what plan is that in?
That's in the streetscape, but that's gonna cost $6,000, but then in return, we're gonna get $8,000.
Only give me
So
$8,000
we're
back.
gonna be ahead $2,000.
Yeah.
You wanna table that until?
I think that we want a little more information on that. Don't you?
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
but you're only saving $31 a month, that's not a lot of savings for this whole building.
Yeah.
That's for
I-
here, water, sewer, so
Yeah.
forth.
Yeah, it's not a big savings at all.
No. What's the front end on it? What's it gonna cost us?
We need more info.
That's
Yeah,
right,
we
we
gotta-
want the
yeah.
front end.
Number
Table.
7,
Yes, we're gonna.
Motion to table.
I'll make a
Yeah.
motion, we table it.
I second.
motion by trustee Noel, second by trustee DeRigo to table that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Number 7 is the EFPR report.
I would like to just point out a couple things in that. We did get our sales tax, county sales tax, $103,984.10. And Jarrett in his diligence brought in $221 in fines for parking tickets. It might not all be him, but a lot of it was.
Right now, in that sales tax that she's mentioning, we speculated we're gonna be at 175 in our budget, when we're working our budget, and right now we're at 165, and we still got one more thing left, so we're gonna be above. It should be
And my only other thing is I would like to remind everybody,
above.
budget work,
Mhm.
budget work. We gotta start thinking on all that.
Anything else in your old business?
No.
New business, blood drive, border patrol. I met with the rep from the border patrol, he said he'd give me a letter, but obviously I haven't
I'm right in
received
there.
it.
Oh, I thought, Molly, didn't you get the letter from the border?
Not from the border patrol, no,
I thought you got a date on that.
not from the border. I got the,
Oh, no, no.
spaghetti dinner today.
Okay.
I got hearts for you today.
There's for you.
Well, if the border wants to do a blood drive, and it fits into
They're talking June or July.
fits in the same time, they gotta take into account what the fire department's got going on. Because you have no idea, if they say July, it might be during one of the boat shows, it might be during Pirates Week, it might be during something. If it's an open week, I have no problem. But if it's gonna interfere with what the fire department does for other things, without a date, it's so hard.
Yeah, that, is there a way I think we ought to need to get a date on this. If they can give us a date before we vote on this.
I'll get with Mr. Drake and
Okay.
make sure that we get a letter from him.
Okay.
I think a blood drive's a great idea, but it's too open.
Number 2, Hearts for Youth, March spaghetti dinner. from Cindy Demo, Hearts for Youth Vice President, Capital Campaign Chair. Hearts for Youth Incorporated would like to ask permission to use the fire hall and community room Sunday, March 14th, 2021, to prepare and distribute our spaghetti dinner and fundraiser. We need to use the kitchen and community room that day. This will allow us to prepare the food for distribution via the drive-through process that the firemen have used for the fundraisers. We would like to be there by 8 a.m. and would leave later in the afternoon after we have cleaned. Takeouts will start at approximately 11 a.m. Since October 2020, when our capital campaign started, we have raised just over $100,000 and are well on our way to achieving our goal of $250,000. This fundraiser will help create awareness for our efforts to build the community center and add some additional revenue.
That's on a Sunday.
Yeah, it's on
Yes.
Sunday.
And it's all gonna be,
Trustee-
it's gonna be all takeout,
It's all
Yes.
takeout, yeah.
and,
Trustee
And that-
Dorigo's gonna be a cook.
and they're gonna clean the whole place when they're all
Yeah,
done.
they're making, I got elected to make the sauce.
No, you volunteered, I was told.
Yeah.
Well, I'll make a motion that we allow them as long as it fits into the plan with the fire department also on
Yeah.
that, at the same time.
I'll second it.
I've talked with them and they said that more than likely they'd be here to help them.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's the 14th.
right.
And what time they're gonna be here?
8 a.m.
8 a.m. Okay,
Motion made by trustee Mills, second by trustee Dorigo to allow Hearts for Youth for spaghetti dinner. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? It's carried.
Mayor, could you go back and table number 1, please, the blood drive?
Blood drive, motion to table.
Bubba, at the table,
Yeah.
and I second it.
All in favor?
Aye,
Aye, opposed?
without a date.
Did not receive anything from the town of Hammond on docks.
I don't think we wanna part with our docks anyway.
What it is trustee Councilman Elk from the town of Hammond called and wanted to know if we were willing to sell 3 of the docks for a project they have in Chippewa Bay. And I told him that would be a full board decision.
I wouldn't wanna get rid of any docks. If they wanted to use them for a weekend or a couple weekends or something like that, it'd be totally different if they wanted to come up and get them, take them down and make sure they brought them back and stuff. I don't think we wanna get rid of our docks. Our docks are in good shape. Sure, it's got them down there stacked. We need them, we got them.
I'm just thinking if we ever have another, function like we did with the antique boats, where the dock literally used 4 extra dockage, it wasn't just for sure.
Yeah, we ran that whole
Yep.
thing all on the side
It
of
would be
it.
very,
They're not
sad
costing
we
us
couldn't-
anything.
No.
I mean, we got them all donated.
so,
No, well, we didn't hear anything.
Well,
so-
I mean, the thing is, there's no precision whether they wanna buy them or they wanna use them, or there's nothing here that,
Well, they wanted to buy it.
According to Councilman Elk, they wanted to buy.
but we don't have a letter though,
Yeah.
We don't have any paperwork,
Alright.
so.
so. We're gonna table this, or we're gonna,
No, it's not even on,
Okay.
there's nothing there.
alright,
We didn't get a letter asking us for anything, so we don't know.
Number 4, Matt Doheny, water bill.
Should be there. Is it there? We did it this morning. I didn't see it in there.
Water meters.
Did you find it?
No,
Okay, I was gonna say, I gotta have my phone now.
no.
You didn't find it?
Yeah,
No.
you didn't find it?
no.
Maybe. Back, all the good stuff.
Hearts for you. No.
Right here. Can you see it? Read the bottom. Oh, that's just, I guess you can't, you turn it sideways and it goes under.
I'll go find it.
Ooh, that's a bill.
Yeah,
They have a water leak.
yeah, 57,000 gallons in 3 days.
See, we had those new meters.
Huh? Yeah, that's right.
I said we had those new meters.
His bill was, his water bill was $2,377.37. his
What
water.
building is this for, the old fire?
For Rock Street, Buddy Slocum's house.
Oh, Buddy.
Buddy's house across the road. And he says that, he understands that he has to pay the water bill, but he was wondering if the sewer portion could be removed, like we always do for everybody else. And that's what he's asking for, is just the sewer part. The sewer part would end up, let's see, happy to pay, the water bill would be $986 for the water part. It had a half-inch line break in the cellar, and it was going full bore for 7 days.
7 days. Nobody checked it.
Well, if we had meters, if we had those new
We
meters.
had the meters,
we'd
it
know.
would,
Well,
No, I'm not talking about our guys, but nobody was there checking the house.
Nobody lives there, it's empty.
nobody,
It's
Yeah.
But what happened was, we did a meter read, and when we did the meter read, it read high, and then a couple days later, I says to Jarrett, I says, did you go check that meter? And he says, no, but we'll send somebody down right now, and they went down, and in 3 days, you 57,000 more down.
That filled the
So I said,
basement?
shut it off, huh?
To fill the basement?
Yeah.
luckily, it was going out the back door, but
Going out
it
the
did
back.
short the furnace out.
there we go. So here's water bill for 6 Rock Street, have to pay the $986 for the water, if we can remove the sewer amount, not doing any.
And we always have, everybody that doesn't go through the sewer, we've always, forgiven it. And I think that we should forgive the sewer part, and he'll have a minimum bill, sewer bill of $18, isn't it, Molly? He'll pay the $18 minimum, and then forgive the rest of
I highlighted how much he's gonna get off, Steve.
$968.10 credit,
for the sewer.
yes.
I make a motion, we allow it.
Motion by trustee Miller,
I'll second.
trustee Strunk, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Cindy says thank you.
Who did?
Cindy, she's watching us on
Then
the,
who?
Anything else under new business?
Oh. No, I don't have any.
Anybody?
I contacted, Wells Communication today for the police department's FCC, license. I spoke with Chris. It's been a 10 years since we had renewed it, so, passwords and numbers, of course, whoever did it. I actually talked to him, and he said, 10 years ago I started working here, he goes, and I did it. So, him and I are working together, so, by tomorrow, we'll have the application into the FCC for the police departments.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
For the
Thing
radio.
you and I talked about the other day.
So, it's all taken care of.
Thank you, Jarrett.
No, you're welcome.
Oh, one other thing I wanted to tell you. Down on Anthony Street, when you had that water leak, and that water leak you had up by the hospital, when you guys got done, I'll bet you people couldn't even tell there was water leaks there. You guys did a great job. I mean, you guys cleaned that up, that Anthony Street. The only reason I knew that you had a water leak over there is because I seen the flashing lights in my window. But you drive down there, you'd have never known you even had a leak. You guys did a good job.
Cold.
It was cold that day.
Yeah. And that's one of the mains that's gonna have to replace. It's an original 1903 4-inch main down through there, so.
That other one, when we were down there, that's clay.
That's,
The one down by the hospital's clay.
so.
Anything else? Public concerns? Anybody have public concerns? 482-9902. We'll give it a minute to catch up.
Yep.
Anybody need executive?
No, I make a motion that we adjourn until Thursday at 4:35.
45.
4:45?
Oh, yeah, 35.
Between 4:30 and 5 o'clock.
4:30. Second?
Can I get a second on that?
I'll second it.
Motion by trustee Moak, second by trustee DeRio to adjourn till Thursday at 4:35. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Adjourned. 6:30.